Hi, we're here at MPE in Berlin, and I'm about to talk with Mike Kudinoff. He is banking services consultant at LHV. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Great to see you again.
It's been a few years, yes.
So, can you introduce LHV to our audience? Who do you serve and what problems do you solve?
LHV essentially started off as a bank in Estonia, so they've been around for about 25 years. And they're traditional, right? So they have consumers, they have merchants, small and enterprise level. But up until recently, they were very focused on their home market. So they had their own gateway, their own acquiring solution. They're the number 3 bank in Estonia, but they have clear ambitions to, on their roadmap, to become the number 1. And as part of that ambition, they're seen in the market as a very entrepreneurial, tech-focused, technology-driven bank. So they don't have branches, it's all driven through in-app. They have about 400,000 consumers. And through this kind of drive, they set up a banking services team. And they started talking to fintechs and licensed financial institutions. And actually their first customer was Coinbase. In 2014, they started working with them. And then gradually over time, they started to refine the services they were offering in this space to match the requirements of Coinbase, but other financial technology companies. The next stage of their development was in 2018 that they opened a branch of their Estonian bank in London. And the really big news for them, which was like many, many years of development, was that they achieved the banking license in the UK. So that was something they're super proud of. But what that does, it helps them to expand the financial services they offer to UK financial institutions as well, which, as you know, right, London and the UK is a big hub for fintechs. So this is kind of like the simple version of their journey.
So LHV obtained that UK banking license very recently, it was 2023. How did LHV capitalize on this achievement to date?
Maybe I take a step back and I explain to you the services they offer. So historically, their target customers, like I mentioned, are licensed fintechs. And having a UK banking license and an Estonian banking license gives them the opportunity to offer these customers indirect access to the schemes. So they would target their customers really with a simple banking solution. So safeguarding is something that many companies need. So from that base of offering a safeguarding account, they're then through indirect access to the schemes, they then support in Europe, SEPA Direct, SEPA Direct Debit. In the UK, they can use the faster payments network. So basically, they're powering these fintechs with the banking services that they offer. So of course, by opening the UK, that broadens the ability of banking services, but actually, in addition, it mirrors the retail banking strategy they have anyway. So by the end of this year, they will be offering consumer banking in the UK, and they already have a loans book. They also take savings. So they are setting themselves up as a bank for consumers and merchants in the UK as well. So from Coinbase, LHV has grown to around 200 fintechs that they service. So, customers like PaySafeCard, TrueLayer, Currency Cloud, Wise, so many, many customers. And what I didn't know before I joined actually was, because I always think that they're like a brand that are doing a lot that you've never heard of. So in the early meetings when I was discovering what they had to offer, it made me really excited because they actually account for 7% of all the SEPA instant transactions that happen in Europe. So I think one of the objectives that obviously LHV has as they grow is to become more well known.
So you recently joined LHV, Mike, with your massive experience in payments. Tell us more about how you will influence the company's direction and success.
Yeah, so Estonia has always been, I would say, like a melting pot for new technology and new companies. And funnily enough, that I worked a lot with Skype, who are also Estonian based in Tallinn. And I stayed in touch with a few people. So many of them migrated over into different businesses. And one of them particularly joined LHV to build out the banking services team. And I've known him for many years. So we've been in discussion for a long time. And when I worked on the merchant services side, so Global Collect, Worldline, Ingenico for many years. And my experience in the merchant services will be really interesting for LHV as we start to expand the verticals that they want to target. So I think it's really refining the strategy. We see the industry developing. So what was a regulated financial company 2 or 3 years ago is changing. So many of the customers that I would have worked in my old role, which are like traditional retailers or marketplaces, are now financially regulated. So this is a great opportunity for LHV to start looking at other verticals, just more than the traditional ones that they focused on today. So that sales strategy is something that I will spend a lot of time over the coming weeks and months.
So looking ahead, what do you believe are the opportunities and challenges for tech-forward banks like LHV in enhancing their support to fintech companies and transforming the landscape of financial services?
Yeah, so there's been quite a discussion point around the conference, and I touched on one of the points, but I was working in the merchant services space. You have the traditional banking sector, and through organizations like LHV, you see the two coming together. So what LHV can offer is that traditional merchants who are now financially regulated, they can help them to penetrate that market with products and services which will accelerate their ability to act like a financial institution or even a bank. So that indirect access to the schemes, the ability to issue IBANs, virtual IBANs, the functionality of being able to do payouts, so complex business models like we see with marketplaces as an example, or automotive or EV, like electric vehicles. You see that the demand for these kind of services are intense. And when I look at LHV and who their competitors are, it's actually quite a small space. So there is an opportunity to help to speed up the time to market for many of these companies and do it in a relatively cost-efficient way.